Okay, everybody, we have a very special guest today. Her name is Antonia Reinhardt. She works at Kurz, which is a specialty foil, and they also make presses for that. So let me give you our origin story because these are some of my favorite things in the printing industry. So here I am walking around Hunkler Innovation Days in beautiful Lucerne, Switzerland, just last week, and minding my own business. And I passed this interactive display and I stopped for a second because it looks kind of cool. And I drilled down into it and I realized it is a full interactive 3D demo of a press that you can literally configure and see what's printing off of it with foil because it allows you to adjust the views. I literally stopped dead in my tracks and I was like, what is this? Where did this come from? What is going on? And Antonie manifested in front of me and said, hi, this is all me. So welcome to International Women's Day. First, can you let everybody know a bit about you, what you do, and how you got into print and finishing?
Well, thank you, Deb, for that amazing origin story. So my name's Antonie. I work for Kurz as a marketing manager in our machines and applications business area, and I lead the global marketing there. Um, my background is in business administration, marketing, and also strategic management. So just a couple years ago, I got my master's degree, and during that time, I was still working as a working student and intern at Kurz. Also had the opportunity to do an internship at our North American subsidiary, so that was really exciting. And how I got into print was really that, well, Kurz is a big employer where I come from in Nuremberg and in Fürth in Germany. And while I was still pursuing my degree, I was kind of looking for how to gain work experience and how to put theory into practice. And that's when Kurz popped up. And so I started an internship in different areas of Kurz. And I ended up in the business area machines and applications. And now that I'm in it, I'm so excited about everything print because it's just everywhere. And I'm so excited to tell my friends about it because, I mean, the general public doesn't really know what all goes into print and what you touch every day, which is all print and all embellishment. So I just, that's really exciting to me.
Can you talk more about Kurz and what you make and how
Sure.
you help the industry?
Sure. So our core business is making transfer product. That's what we call it. So what it really is there is a PET layer, and on top of that, there are different types of lacquer layers that make it shiny. And the lacquer layers, those are the ones that we transfer onto different types of materials, also print substrates, for example. And that is our core business. And we're in graphics, we're in also decoration of plastic components. We also have security features like on banknotes, for example. But we also have a machines business area, and it's kind of reflecting every other business that we're in. So we build machines for all of those types of businesses. And well, we've always built machines for that, but it was pretty much very customer focused. So whatever type of specific application they needed, we were able to build and design the machines for them. And now for a couple years now, we started commercializing certain type of embellishment machinery. And now we're actually at the point where we're offering the biggest and most comprehensive portfolio of digital embellishment equipment in the world. And I get to be the one that gets to promote it and market it. Yeah.
And you do an amazing job of it, hence the
Thank you.
display. So I want to just circle back because you gave a
Mhm.
really technical answer for what you
We
do with
do.
the well,
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's like, I mean, I appreciate that. You should be as technical
Yeah.
as you want, but for the regular people out there, like
Yeah.
me, print customer,
Mhm.
you make the shiny stuff. You make
We make,
foil.
well, let me give you our Kurz pitch. So, technically, you can touch our product, the transfer product, on everyday items multiple times a day. So, whenever you wake up, go into the bathroom, and you put on your moisturizer or you cleanse your face, and on the bottle, there's a label on there. And the lettering, for example, is shiny. Oftentimes, that's our foil. Or if it's you're making coffee in the morning and it's flexible packaging and it's shiny, might be our foil. Then you get into the car and you're touching your steering wheel, or you touch any type of interior or even exterior of your car, whatever's shiny or whatever looks like, oh, this is like maybe like wooden something, could be our foil too.
Okay,
And
I did not
then,
know that
well,
it was in cars. That is so cool.
yes, yes. And then if you're, well, unfortunately, the dollar doesn't have any type of hologram on it, but if you're maybe in Europe, for example, and you're going into a store buying a pretzel for breakfast, and you pay with a €5 bill, and there's a hologram on it, that is also Kurz, for example. Or you show your ID, there is also Kurz foil on it. So like literally almost every item that you touch, also electronics, home appliances, any type of print that is shiny or not, it doesn't even have to be shiny. It could also just be a nice, really sleek black, for example.
Okay, I did
Oftentimes,
not know there was
that's
black
Kurz
foil.
foil.
Okay.
You know, license plates. License plates are
What?
also foiled. So a
Oh,
lot of the
that's true.
time,
So
yes,
the reflective thing is foil.
yes, and whatever makes the lettering stand out, the color is also foil. So literally, a lot of the things that you see in everyday life is decorated by a Kurz foil.
Excellent. And do you consider yours a digital or an analog process or both?
Well, we're offering solutions for both processes, and we also see it as just an add-on. So it's not that digital is going to replace any analog technology, in my opinion. It's just something that you can add on if you want to, or if you have specific applications, we can then consult you and saying, well, in our opinion, as a subject matter expert in that, we believe that this type of technology would work best for the application at hand.
I wanted to spend a little time because we've
Yeah,
actually never had anyone from Kurz on any of our
that's a shame.
programming. Well, we had to find
You
the
get to
right
be the first.
people. Exactly. So, and that's exactly what happened. As I said, I was walking around Hunkler Innovation
Yep.
Days and I stopped dead in my tracks. So let's talk about the display. And don't worry, everybody, you're going to see it in a second, but I want Antonie to, tell everybody how she came up with this idea.
Yeah. So, well, last year, we were at Drupa and we had this very large booth. And for the first time, really, we had so many different types of equipments there. So we had three different platforms of our digital embellishment equipment there. And, you know, it was a large booth. So we were standing there at some point and we were like, well, how are we ever going to be able to exhibit the amount of equipment that we have on show here? Also the size and the scope of the equipment. It's probably not going to be possible until the next Drupa, or maybe not even at the next Drupa. We don't know. So this was really the time when the idea was born that we need a solution to be able to exhibit and showcase our equipment on any size booth, wherever in the world, really. And so from that point on, I was really focused on trying to find a technology or a solution that could make the technology and the equipment tangible and kind of experienceable, if that's how you can say it, to visitors at a trade show.
Yeah,
And
engaging. That's exactly what it was. Yeah.
correct.
So,
And so
go
that's
ahead.
how it was really born.
Okay, so everybody, you can see I'm going to show everybody what the display is, and if you can just give us
Mm,
a, let everybody know what we're looking at. I just want people
absolutely.
to know this video is impeccable, but it was in German, so I thought that maybe
Well,
uh,
yeah.
we would have our own translator here. So okay,
Yes, so we're
here
just
we
gonna
go.
talk over it. Um, so in general, what this was really about is this is a 360 model on a touch screen that you can turn 360 degrees and look at it in different ways. So you can actually, it's not a video, like you can see right here, you can move it wherever. You can open up different components of the machine. So what you can see right here, wherever it says tap me or the little bubble is blinking up, that's actually where you can dive deeper into the technology and into the machinery. Like right here, for example. What you could also do, because we incorporated information buttons, so you can zoom in as well. So you can actually have a deep dive into the technology right there and really see what is happening inside of the machine. Well, right here, because I just touched it in the video. What we can do is we can simulate live production as well. I think we're probably going to see it at some point in the video. Um, so what we can do is there are several different live jobs integrated into this machine, and the display that you just saw really is the interface of the actual machine, and you can choose different live jobs and start running it. And then you can actually, like what we're seeing right now, have a look at the inspection table and really see and move the sample, and actually through really nice lighting, actually can see the embellishment on it as well. And it's always just really exciting because we have the live samples at trade shows there too. So we can show that they actually exist. Um, and then we also incorporated info buttons. So it's actually also great for self-learners, because what we really tried to achieve was make it as intuitive for users as possible, so that we really wanted people to walk up to the screen. That's why it's also so wide. I think it's 65 inches wide. We really wanted people to engage by themselves without having to be engaged by our salespeople. So we really made sure that the whole display is very approachable too. And so what you can see right here, we also built in different configurations of the machine. So you can actually transform or style, kind of configure the machine the way you would need it for your application. And that was something that was really exciting for any type of visitors too. So you can really see a lot of the technology already on screen without actually having a real life machine at the booth. And that was really our goal, for us to be able to showcase the technology and to make it tangible and engaging to the visitor without having an actual machine there. Because, the footprint of a machine is quite large oftentimes. And so for us, it was really important. We can take this anywhere in the world and showcase our equipment portfolio. So
It was just incredible, and, there were people lined up to look at it. Certainly after I started going crazy about it, I sent some people your way.
that's true. That's true. You got a lot of people coming in. Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually, well, something interesting, we actually had, there were two little kids coming up later, at a later point in time at the show. And what was so interesting to me was to see that they walked up to the monitor, and they figured out how to run a live job in 2 minutes. And they were like 10. So and we were like, you're so smart and brave to walk up to this tool, which is so huge, so much bigger than you, and to just start playing around. Um, Not even adults tried to figure it out. They were like after you came around, people were starting to be like, oh, you can actually, like, you can touch it and you can do things with it. But until then, people were more like, oh, what is this? Is this just a video?
Oh my God.
But the cool
I,
thing is it's just,
it was like a beacon to me. I'm like, I was walking by and I was like, "Er,
yeah,
what is that? Something is, it was
yeah,
like, I was like, this is different. This is different. Okay. I really want to get into um you coming up with this idea.
yeah.
How did you pitch it to your team?
Well, first of all, I really want to say that it wasn't just me. So we have a team in the background that worked on it together with me. The initial idea and all the objectives that we really tried to achieve, that was really set up by me, and I kind of directed what we did right here. But then I have a lot of very talented, very motivated people on the team that helped really create this. And so we were looking at different solutions, and together as a creative team, we came up with this. Um, and well, once we kind of found a solution that we thought, well, that's really it. That's really what we want to do. We tried to visualize what it would look like. And that's when we started pitching it to different levels in the company. So what was always important with it, especially when you're pitching something like that, that is still a huge investment. It's not really, it's something new. There's no real benchmark to it. So people can't really imagine what it could look like and what it could do for the customer and visitor. So what I always try to do is really connect it to the impact that it can have. And a lot of the times, if it's non-marketing executives, that means connecting financial KPIs with it. So for us, really, it's always an investment bringing equipment to a show. And also having that on an international scale, that just is just it has to be legitimized in some type of way. And so the whole real argument was actually, well, this is right now, this is an investment and this looks like a lot of money, but we can save a lot of money in the long run if we invest into this. We have several different types of use cases, not just at trade shows, that we can use this for. And so it was really important for me to make our non-marketing executives understand the value behind it in actual financial KPIs. Because that's kind of, we have a lot, we have a lot of engineers in the company. And so for them, numbers is just how they roll. And I think for us, that was really, really the thing that made them like, oh, okay, this is really what we want to do.
Yeah, well, what you're saying is you have to speak the language of the people that
Correct.
you want
Yeah.
to
Know your
influence,
audience.
know your
Yes.
audience. And I love that you methodically went to each department to get their buy-in or
Yes.
find out from them, okay, if we did this, what do you need in this thing so that you're cool? And then
Correct.
once
Yeah.
they have an idea and you say, great idea, then they're going to champion their own idea. But
Yes.
even with that, you and your team were
Mhm.
completely disrupting the trade show model completely. Because honestly, what I saw at Hunkler is, why do you have to drag that machine around? If I can get I could see how it worked. I could see the different configurations. I could
Mhm.
do self-learning, as you said. I could call somebody over, and everything that was being shown, printed in the display, was right there in front of you as well.
Yep.
And I've seen those samples before in real life, and it's not some rigged thing. It's
Yeah.
really, I mean, this is what it looks like if you
It's
had
real. Yeah.
brought the machine over. I mean, there was so that I want to know, like, what did the company, where were they about? No, we must drag machines to the trade shows all around the world. And can you just give a
Mhm.
ballpark of the actual financials of maybe again just a ballpark of what it would cost you for a year to do that versus what it costs you now to do it. Again, I know it's
Right.
proprietary, but
Yeah. Well, for us, it was really because Kurz is not necessarily very well known as a machine manufacturer in the market yet. So it was important for us to actually showcase real life machines for people to actually be able to connect that to Kurz. And so we believe it's still important to have live machines at a show, but just as an add-on that makes it even more interesting, we have this tool right now and we can bring the whole portfolio with it. Also at trade shows, just live jobs and actual running machines are just always grabbing people's attention and bringing people into the booth. So I still believe we're going to do that, but it just depends on the size of the booth. For example, if we're going to smaller shows, this tool is perfect, but it will always be an add-on as well if we're going to bigger shows. So if we just think about Drupa, I was just telling you, we had three bigger platforms there.
yeah,
Um, and we're actually talking about six figures right there just to bring one machine. And if we're talking about live production, just the substrate, which luckily we got also sponsored by our partner Sappy, um, that is also already six figures to just have live production for what is Drupa, 10, 11 days. If it's smaller scale shows, it's still around that type of numbers. What is just like bringing it, like the logistics, bringing the equipment to the place where it's at, and
yeah,
then running it, all the electricians, everything that comes with that. I would say we're in a like, yeah, like lower six figure area there. And when we're now talking about bringing this display, we're definitely in a well, the investment now was in a five figure area. But when we're now saying, well, we're bringing this to a show, we're definitely in just like a couple thousand.
amazing,
Yeah.
incredible.
And when it
Um,
comes to that, and that was something that I was talking to people at the show as well, was just the sustainability of it all. We don't
yes,
have to ship like all those machines everywhere into the world, but we can still make the machines experienceable.
yeah,
So
and
you
the
can
reason why
say.
I just love this so much is because we're in a time where people are looking at, what it costs to go to trade shows and bring their
Absolutely.
stuff and pay for booths and all that. And okay, but rather than not going,
Yep.
can be an alternative to how you
Absolutely.
show your goods and services. And you have done that very, very successfully. I want to, the last question I want to ask you is, how did that yes to manifest your idea into reality feel? And what is your advice for pitching new ideas and being heard?
Mhm. Yes. So my kind of wake up moment was really at the show, especially when you came along. I really got to say it. And people started coming in and asking us if they could buy this software, for example, because we've been working on this for so long and we tried to make this a cool thing the way we thought it was cool. And then actually presenting it to the public and seeing that immensely positive feedback was really like, I didn't expect that at all, to be honest. And so that was really the moment where I understood what we just did. And it felt, I can't even believe what happened last week, to be honest. So it's still a little surreal to me. But my advice to kind of pitching that to executives and getting a yes, getting a convinced yes, is knowing the details, everything that goes into it. You need to know the infrastructure, you need to know the technology that is in the background of it all. You need to own it. Um, and especially when you're working with non-marketing executives, you somehow need to make it tangible to them. And a lot of the times that works with visuals, like already having mock-ups, already having renderings to show them what it could look like, for them to imagine it better, for them to make it more tangible to them, and the financial KPIs. That's really what I think hit it off was, okay, well, this is a fun gadget, this looks cool, but what can it do for us? Because still, we can have all of those great marketing arguments of this is what it could do at a trade show, this is what it could do for the visitors, for the customers, for sales. But at the end of the day, what's the measurable value for the company itself? And a lot of the times for executives, they're looking at numbers, and you gotta, as we said, you gotta speak their language and you need to know your audience, but own the whole thing.
There's an African proverb that says, without risk, there is no reward.
Yeah.
So thank you for taking the risk. Um,
Thank you,
it was
Deb.
definitely rewarding for the people at Honkler. It will be rewarding for your company moving forward. And anytime you are at an event and you see that there's a Kurz booth, go over, find Antonie and her team
Yes.
and say, and go check out that display. Thank you again so much for your time. We will put links in the chat to get in touch with you on LinkedIn. And
Thank you, Deb.
just again, thank you so much for joining us. Happy International Women's Day, you
Thank
international
you.
woman, you.
Thank you. Back to you. Thank you very much for having me. It was a lot of fun.